Morning, everybody. Today I'm in the tiny town of East Carbon City. It's in eastern Utah, and it's also the easternmost city in Carbon County. And I'm starting off on the grassy trail walking path. Well, there's nothing grassy about it right now. It's still middle of winter and absolutely covered in snow. This is one of the fields bordering the path. But as I go along, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the history of the area, and it's quite interesting, actually. Apologies if this is not in focus. But yeah, the path is bordered by very, very small family farms and grazing areas. There's not any cattle to speak of in this particular area, but there is cattle further on down the highway and way up in the canyon. Pretty quiet this time of year. There's not a lot of people that use the walking path right now, mostly because the average daytime temperature hovers around 34 35 degrees, and the nighttime lows often drop into the teens, sometimes even single digits. So it's pretty cold out here. It's not really surprising though, considering the place has an elevation of about 5,900 feet. Average snowfall is about 14 inches a year. It needs to be a little bit higher than that to fill up the reservoir, so there's enough water to go around in summer. So far, it hasn't really reached that goal. So this area's got quite a long history, some with cattle ranching, some with mining. The town of East Carbon was officially incorporated in 1973 when the two mining towns of Dragerton and Columbia were merged. Both of them were kind of struggling at the time, so we figured, okay, let's cut our losses and just merge the two. So it pretty much worked, but with mining dropping off in the 70s, and I think it completely died in this general area in about the 80s, the town kind of collapsed after that. The population has been steadily declining since. I wouldn't say the town collapsed. It's still going, but it is definitely struggling. Approximately 16-70% of the population is below the poverty line. But somehow, the spirit of the town still, it isn't dead. It's still going. There's still local community events. There's still enough going on to maintain the area. The biggest employer in the area is an elementary school. Other than that, there's not a heck of a lot of jobs. There's a market, mostly family owned. There is a haircutting place. I don't know if it's ever been open. There is a museum, which has a single curator. And that's just about it. Today I'm going to show you the what's left of downtown East Carbon. And nature information signs were put up by Boy Scouts in the area only a couple months ago, and they get to inform us about the flora and fauna of the area. Obviously, you can't really see much of that right now in winter, but yeah, that's their little contribution to the community. The walking path itself is about a mile one way, and it's pretty nice, especially in spring and summer when all the trees get their leaves back. And the right kind of seasons, you can see deer and lots of different birds, mostly bluebirds and robins in the right season, lots of sparrows, and the occasional cottontail rabbit. And right now our main wildlife residents are ravens. Alright, here's one of two parks within a 1 mile radius. This is Viking Park. It was named for the local high school mascot. Of course, the high school closed quite a while ago. Got a little Viking boat there. See if I can get a little closer and get a better angle of it. But it's got quite a few features for a small town park. We've got motocross track. I never see any kids on it, but basketball court, playground, a zip line that's quickly falling apart, sadly, an old caboose, and that hill in the background behind the covered picnic area. That's where all the kids like to go sledding. I believe the Denver and Rio Grande? Okay, snow's pretty deep, so... Whoop! Okay, here we go. Snow's definitely deep around here. Ugh. So I kind of got to post hole it. Okay, it's not that bad. Let's see if I can find the markings, show you where it came from. Yeah, this is definitely deep snow right here. Denver. Okay. Carbon. Aha! It is marked. You barely make out the letters. Carbon County Railway Company. It's painted over. Definitely an old thing. Whew. No idea how old it is. I'd show you inside, but it's pretty messed up. Local young hooligans decided to tag it. So, but it's a neat little piece of history we've got sitting here. This is a mural we've got. I believe it was done 1993 by the high school students, and it's got a few cartoon characters, flowers, rail cars. This is actually pretty well done. It's a canyon there, and the coke ovens. I'll tell you about those another day. The Viking, which is the mascot. Well, it was the mascot. And over here, I think we have Bart Simpson, Marvin the Martian. You've made me very angry. And Tiny Toon Adventures version of Taz, with I think that's Go-Go and someone else on his shoulders. Yosemite Sam, filthy varmint, and Boo Boo from Yogi Bear. And the coal trains right there. It's a neat little piece of art for a small town, and I didn't even know it was here until I went exploring at Viking Park. Across the street from the park, that building used to be the local library. It's been closed quite a few years now. They tried to reopen it in last summer, but nothing ever really panned out. Hopefully it'll be open this summer. Be nice to be able to come to a small local library again. Okay. This is nearest we can get to a main street here. Got some buildings down there. Got a museum. It used to be a restaurant. Sadly, the owner got really old, couldn't take care of it anymore, had to shut it down. Alright, there's the East Carbon Post Office. That's probably the busiest place in town, other than City Hall. Even City Hall is pretty quiet right now. Okay, so we got one of about 5 churches, and the bank, an old Chevron station, and Highway 123. And the Book Cliff Mountains still coated in lots of snow. City Hall and Police Department, and a bunch of mining equipment. And I think that held medical supplies, I'm not really sure. Some of these carts have got a plaque with them, but not all of them do. The classic one you think of hauling ore. Let's see. Little ore cart here. I think there's anything in it. The next one is sort of a covered ore cart. Yeah, lots and lots of mining history around here. Alright, this one I think has got some coal in it. Yeah, at the bottom, buried under all that snow, it's still got coal in it. And it's definitely pretty rickety. It's falling apart. So, let's back up a little bit. Yep, it's one of the ore carts. I think this one is drawn by mules. And here's a plaque. Yes, mule-drawn mine car. Pulled by a mule, this car carried hand-loaded coal from the face area to a mainline parting where a gathering motor would pick it up and transport it to the surface. The mule car ran on small rails, enabling easier pulling. The mule wore a protective leather cape over the rear quarter, and a leather head covering was served as protection from the mainline trolley wire when dumping the coal at mainline parting. Oh, that's interesting. That area right there, Dragerton Trading Post. It's been shut down for quite some time. Only other thing open along that area is a gas station. Alright, we got some slightly more modern mining equipment here. Big old piece of coal right up there. Couldn't tell you what any of them are, but slightly more modern. Okay, so I guess that just about covers the town of East Carbon. Museum's closed except on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and apparently these days you need an appointment. I guess it wasn't bringing in enough in donations to keep the lights on, which is pretty sad. It's a neat little museum. It's got lots of mining stuff. Hey! Remember, during one of my last vlogs, I dropped a glove of mine in the snow. Well, look what I just found. Look at that. It needs to be dried off and thrown in the washer. Probably washed, but got my glove. Anyway, yeah, it's a pleasant little thing. Anyway, so yeah. I usually try to stop into the gas station whenever I'm in town and get something small like a drink or a snack or something like that. Sadly, I got all the way into town before I realized I don't have any cash. So that was embarrassing. I'll head home and bring you guys the verse of the day. Okay, so we're finishing off the vlog with the verse of the day. Today it's Psalm 133 verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people dwell together in unity. I thought that verse was rather appropriate since today is actually Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Great man, definitely lost way too soon in a horrible way. I hope that we can continue to learn the lessons that he tried to teach us while he was with us. So, I'll see everybody again tomorrow, and until then, get out there and live like you're loved, because you are. Bye guys.